The F-18 Hornet was designed as the first all-weather fighter and attack aircraft for the U.S. military. It could perform traditional strike tasks like interdiction and close air support without sacrificing its fighter capabilities. The platform has been steadily improved over time, and in 1999, the F/-18E divided by F Super Hornet replaced the F-14 Tomcat in service with the U.S. Navy. Air superiority, fighter escort, reconnaissance, aerial refueling, close air support, air defense suppression, and day/night precision strike were all areas in which this second model upgrade excelled across the board. Following its merger with McDonnell Douglas in 1997, Boeing is now the manufacturer of the F/-18E/F Super Hornet, which has been produced in two distinct versions, the single-seat F/-18/E and the dual-seat F/-18/F. Force multiplier. Using a variety of external equipment, the Super Hornet has served as a multi-role attack aircraft, while the advanced networking capabilities of the fighter jet have enabled it to carry out very specific missions. It has thus served as a force multiplier in situations where it has been deployed to address a variety of carrier challenges. In its attack mode, it has provided force projection, interdiction, and close and deep air support, while in its fighter mode, it has served as an escort and provided fleet air defenses against enemy aircraft and other threats. The Super Hornet can carry a variety of weapons, including AIM-9 Sidewinder, AIM-7 Sparrow, and AIM-120 AMRAAM air-to-air missiles, as well as guided air-to-ground weapons like Harpoon, Slam/Slam-ER, GBU-10, GBU-51, HARM, and Maverick, thanks to its 11 weapon stations and 2 wing store stations, as well as MK-76, BDU-48, MK-82LD, MK-82HD, and MK-84 freefall air-to-ground bombs. A General Dynamics M61A 220mm Gatling-style gun, a hydraulically driven 6-barreled rotary action, air-cooled, electrically fired weapon with selectable rates of 4,000 or 6,000 rounds per minute, was also included in the aircraft. The F/-18/E saw its first combat action on November 6 of the same year when Strike Fighter Squadron 115, VFA 115, also known as the Eagles, participated in enforcing a no-fly zone in Iraq. On July 24, 2002, the aircraft saw its first operational use with the Eagles. In March 2003, the F/-18E divided by F was also deployed as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Block 3. Since its introduction in 2001, the F/-18E divided by F Block 2 Super Hornet has established a reputation as the carrier air wing's pillar of strength thanks to its incorporation of a number of technologies that enhance capabilities. In April 2020, the final Block 2 production 2 aircraft was delivered, concluding a run of 322 ES and 286 FS. Those aircraft were immediately delivered to Strike Fighter Squadron 34 from the production line. The initial pair of F/-18 Block 3 test aircraft arrived at the Navy a month later, where they have been utilized for carrier testing. Boeing fostered the Block 3 Super Hornet to supplement existing and future air wing capacities, while the Naval Force said it would utilize airplane to test and investigate new ideas of activity. The first Block 3 aircraft featured a number of new features, one of which was a touchscreen display that was 10 by 19 inches and resembled a large tablet. It has made it possible for pilots to see, track, and target multiple long-range targets while also replacing many of the conventional buttons and knobs in the cockpit. A new satellite communication system has also been added to the Block 3 jets, allowing them to use pod infrared search and track (IRST) sensors. Additionally, the aircraft now have improved network capabilities, a longer range, and a smaller radar signature. The Block 3 Super Hornet has conformal fuel tanks mounted on the shoulder. These tanks can hold 3,500 pounds of fuel more and reduce drag, allowing the aircraft to fly longer, go faster, and carry more weapons. In March of 2019, the U.S. Navy gave Boeing, which has its headquarters in Chicago, a contract worth $4 billion for the multi-year acquisition of 78 F/-18 Block 3 Super Hornets. These aircraft will consist of 61 single-seat EES and 17 two-seat FS and will be delivered through 2024. Combatability. Since its introduction, the Super Hornet has extensively demonstrated its combat effectiveness. In November 2002, the Super Hornet participated directly in its first operations. This was when two F-18Es partook in a reaction activity strike in support of Operation Southern Watch in Iraq. This was done. Additionally, the Super Hornet saw extensive use during the Iraq War and in the fight against Islamic State in Iraq. In June 2017, the Super Hornet's first air-to-air kill was against the Syrian Air Force Su-22. Additionally, the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels aerobatic team has utilized the Super Hornet. The team flew these in place of earlier legacy Hornet models from the 1980s until 2020. The Super Hornet has also been used by other air forces, like the Royal Australian Air Force, which has used it in operations over Iraq as well. The U.S. Navy considers the Super Hornet to be a tremendous success, being 400 pounds lighter than the initial requirements, in addition to meeting its cost and schedule. Production. Boeing recently made the announcement that the Super Hornet's production would end in 2025 if the Indian Navy decides to purchase the Super Hornet for its aircraft carriers. This may remain open until 2027. Boeing is placing more resources into undertakings. For example, the F-15EX, the T-7A, and the MQ-25. Additionally, there is no longer a need for brand new F-35 variants due to the increasing number of existing aircraft entering service. However, even though production will end, the aircraft will probably continue to be used for some time. The F-35, a more complicated fifth-generation stealth aircraft, is always preferable to more conventional aircraft like the Hornet. Therefore, it is likely that the Super Hornet will remain in U.S. service for a considerable amount of time to come.